9th here live on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll take your phone calls today live at 877-853-5247. That meeting ID is Esports Extra. That is 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Let's come on inside here. Larry Ridley here from SNY TV, little NBC Sports, little Madden NFL, little NBA 2K League as well. Just a band of three brothers today, man. We're struggling today, man. We got two flat tires today, man. We've got D-Dubs and A-Dubs. Hey, Willie, man, we'll go down to Royal Palm Beach, man, that fountain of youth. What's up, D-Dubs, on a Sunday, man?
Yeah, I was just trying to hang in there, man. I got up a little bit late, but I'm ready to go with the show. And this is a shout out to OG and the Brooklyn Nets for making the playoffs with the esports. So that's why he's not here. So we got to give him, he had professional playoff business to tend to. So we're going to hold it down for him.
Ain't nothing professional about going to a dinner. Ain't nothing but an ultra perm.
See, there you go.
Hey, Willie, what's up with you? I see you got your hoodie, dog. You rocking that hoodie?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mookie Betts all about these Dodgers, man. Want these guys to play well. So, yeah, definitely wearing that hoodie today in the AC in Dallas.
Hey, you a bad boy, man. You got some chutzpah dude doing that, man, wearing that hoodie inside, man. I'm sure the AC's like on 60. It's got to be an icebox in there, right?
Yeah, no question. We keep it really low when I'm rocking the hoodie for sure.
Good. And, you know, I'm sure that the Mrs. Siobhan, she's probably telling you don't touch the thermostat. Just because you got on the hoodie don't mean nothing. Right?
That's what the boss does, man. That's what she does.
Hey, they asked for the boss and they sent you, dog.
Right.
All right. Hey, big show today, guys. We're talking NBA. Dame Lillard last night against pretty much the whole damn Clippers team. We'll get into that. Chandler Jones making provocative statement, making a nice little proclamation. We'll see. We'll talk about that and the ramifications for that. Lambeau Field making some news as well. Won't see any cheeseheads, at least for a couple of games to start the season. Darius Geis, into some hot water, some trouble here. Not on the Washington football team anymore. We'll get into that. Gonna have a good friend of ours, a good buddy of ours, Jason Dumas, out there in the Bay Area, sports director for KRON Television out there, doing his thing in the Bay Area. We're going to talk about the Oakland A's, the bench coach, Christensen, also off to a very hot start. We'll get into that. Cubs v. Cardinals canceled this entire weekend. Also, more ramifications. Breaking news came out late last night into the early morning concerning the Cardinals. We'll get into that. Trevor Lawrence, sorry, D-Dubs. He is going to play this year. But it was at least the thought. So you were right. You were right on top of that. But he is going to play this year. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about some action. The MAC football conference in the fall sports will not be happening this year. Also, Division 1 AA, affectionately known now as FCS. It will always be 1 AA to me. So we'll get into that. This coach of Texas Tech, Marlene Stolings, man, she's ruthless. Out there and love it.
Tyrant.
Man, a tyrant. That's the perfect word. We'll get into that with her as well. Dr. Disrespect making some news this weekend in our esports segment. We'll talk about that to a large fanfare as well, like over 500,000 people watching, dude. Man, it's say what you want. 40-year-old dude, got a alter ego, a persona out there. But you know what? Coach K and I, we always talk about this. Production value is off the charts. For a guy that's a streamer. And I think that's been the key to his success, to say what you want about him. We'll get into some NBA 2K League a little bit. We'll talk about Ivan Curtis getting some good news, clinching that. And also Compete Forever on Black News Channel this weekend. Already aired 3 times, got another airing at 6 p.m. on Black News Channel with the HBCU takeover, our NBA 2K HBCU championship. All right, let's start at the top, guys. Dame Lillard. It was Dame time last night. It was supposed to be anyway, right? 2 free throws pretty much to win the game under, 20 seconds left, somewhere around there. Misses 2 free throws, and the Clippers let him have it. You saw Pat Bev over there. A little bit of we saw Marquise Morris. Marquise. Marcus is with the Lakers.
Marcus is with the Clippers.
Marcus with the Clippers. That's right, because he played with the Knicks.
Marquise
That's right.
is with the Lakers.
Marquise is with the Lakers. Marcus was with the Knicks last year, right? And he got traded.
Yeah, so Marcus.
They're twins.
Yes.
No, hold on.
With the Knicks. Marcus was with the Knicks.
And so Marcus was also with the Celtics too, right? last year.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that is Marcus. Marcus Morris and Markeith is with the Lakers. They were letting him have it on the sidelines over there. Also, a little PG-13 as well. They were all mocking the clock and the game time on the wrist with their watches and things like that. Got into a little Twitter beef. I don't want to call it a beef, but a little spat, a little back and forth there. And Dane said, "Look, man, you chumps. I basically I sent you home, PG, and I also sent you home as well, Pat Bev. They're also doing a little bye-bye sound, and then we saw Pat Bev says, 1, 2, 3, Cancun, or Cancun on 3. That was pretty funny. Talking about they're going home, and we saw PG as well. PG-13 tweet something or post something on social media. I believe it was on Instagram, talking about basically you going home and things of that nature. So what do you guys make of this on a Saturday night? I loved it, by the way. Good fodder, friendly competition on the court, off the court. I want all the smoke. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, A. Willis, since you spent some time deep in the association.
No, I think it's great. And again, we always talk about with players training together, and we always talk about some of the latent functions of the AAU culture where players are seeing each other every weekend. So with that being said, they become friends, and people complain about the competition, the lack of pettiness, if you will. So the fact that these guys are really getting into it, and that's where the rivalries are per se, not necessarily with the teams, but with the individuals that you see in the NBA, I think is great. For me, one of the things that stood out also was, with Patrick Beverley, one of the things that Dame said was, and we all know this from our time playing, one of the things that was always said was, if the coach isn't yelling at you or if the coach isn't hard on you, that means that they don't care about you.
They don't
right?
care.
So the fact that they react the way that they react to Dame, and he made mention of that, shows the amount of respect. And the other thing too, Patrick Beverley also said earlier, and this is a guy that doesn't give anybody any sort of credit, which makes him what he is in the NBA. He said the hardest guy for me to guard was Dame Lillard, right? So I got to get in shape. If I got to get a new team, whatever it is I need to do, he's talking about his training team. If I got to get a new team, whatever it is I need to do to get ready for this cat, I need to do that to get ready for him. So again, the fact that they reacted like that just shows that amount of respect. And we can also deep dive on Paul, but I'm sure D has something to say about that, and I don't want to take that.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Paul George, Gerald. I mean, because that was part of it, and we saw that last year. OKC, baby. But
when he was doing that, was he doing that towards the players or was he doing that towards the crowd?
I think he was doing that. No, he was saying bye-bye. He was doing it to everybody. I think everybody got caught in the shrapnel of that.
Yeah,
but definitely the OKC. He waved at him like Whitley. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a queen or something, like,
Yeah, because that whole series was petty, right? Because Portland had got up on them and they were, Dame being pretty stoic. And then the one game that OKC won, they were pretty animated about it. And Dame said something about that. You guys win one game and you guys are acting like you won a championship in terms of rocking the baby and Dennis Schroeder doing this.
They're doing too much.
Right. So when he hit that shot, it was literally to all of you guys. See you later, and this is what I do.
All of you go fishing. Y'all can go get on TNT right now and go fishing.
I know I'm different. I felt once again the guys are doing too much. It was one game.
Why you gotta throw water on it, girl?
They doing too much. If you respect the guy missed 2 free throws. I mean, I watched
one of the clutchest players in the NBA.
You probably won't see that for a long time. That he missed.
Facts. 93% from the line.
I know.
I mean, and then you guys are celebrating like he ain't going home yet. This is premature. This might come back. This might be karma come back to bite you.
Well, but it goes back to what we were talking about on Wednesday and Thursday, which is we all like Portland. We want to see them get in the playoffs. We think they're a dangerous 8-9 seed, probably an 8, whatever, if they win that the little tournament with the other 8 seed. I wouldn't want to play those guys. Healthy now, Skinny Mello, Bubble Mello, Nurkic out there, man. You do not want to play this team right now. Dame Dollar, CJ and those guys, McCollum. But it's still a tough road for those guys. Can they win? Can they knock out the 1, the 2, and probably the 3?
You got to get in first. You going too far ahead. You got to get in first.
Well, we're saying they're dangerous, but damn, I mean, even the 8 seeds that have been dangerous, historically, it's kind of hard to run the table. Now we've seen it done in football with a 6 seed, like a wild card, but that's a one and done scenario. To win 12 games,
We only
and it
seen
might take
once,
you,
99.
it'll probably take them 20 or 21 games. They're not sweeping anybody, so they would have to win probably 3 straight series to get to the finals in probably 6 or 7 games. So do the math. That's 20, 21 games right there, 19 to 21 games. Yeah, that's a lot.
Can it happen?
Anything can happen.
Is it impossible?
Kevin Garnett said anything is possible. I was right.
Exactly. So first, they got to get in first. They got to get in. And I just don't like Patrick Beverly and Paul George. I mean, you won the game. I give credit to the Clippers because they're one of their best players didn't play, and they circled the wagons, and they won a game that most people didn't think that they would win. So that shows a lot about their bench and their strength when they got Lou Williams and everyone clicking. Hats off to them for hanging.
Trez Harrell not playing either. Montrez.
Yeah, hats off to them. They're showing why a lot of people like A. Willie are picking them to get to the finals. But that being said, if you respect Damian Lillard, what are you chirping off at him like that?
Hey, I respect you, but I have some fun with you every single show. I'm sure you respect me, but you bring it every daggone time.
But this one thing between friendly banter back and forth.
I think that's probably what it was.
I don't think it was friendly though.
I think
it was in competition. Look, I mean, they even say. I mean, look at the emojis. With the thumbs up, the fist, and all that. Look, they respect him. They know he's supreme. They know he's an uber talent in the league.
True.
But, hey, man, look, dude. Hey,
man,
no cap.
1, 2, 3,
no
Cancun. That's kind of mean, dude. That's mean.
You don't think it's mean to wave somebody off the court?
Yeah.
But
you don't think that's mean?
There was a lot leading up to that.
There's a lot leading up to that.
And he finished it.
Up to this too.
But Paul George and those guys did not finish anything yesterday.
It's full circle. It keeps going until everybody's out the league.
Yeah. Because even Paul George, because last year, after Dame sent them home and effectively broke up that team, Paul George said at the press conference, it was a bad shot, right? And we know that if you look at a guy again that's shooting 93% from the field, from the free throw line, chances are he can hit 30 plus feet shots.
It ain't a bad shot if it goes in.
Right. And Dame is shooting over 42% with almost 43% from that range, 30 plus feet. So the fact that it wasn't a bad shot because this guy does this on the regular, and then Paul George says at the press conference, that was a bad shot, that's stirring the pot, right?
It is. That's what I'm saying. Give a man his due. He sent you home. It was a hell of a shot. He had nuts to take it. And we just showed the picture on that look and that mug for the camera. He's not only Darwin, I forgot about that. Not only did he wave him off the court like Whitley on a different world, he daggone mug for the camera like, now what?
I do this.
And what?
Yeah.
I do this.
There was a lot building up to that, and he finished it.
Making excuses.
But yesterday, nothing was finished. Nothing was finished.
It's continual, brother. Okay. It's a continuation. Just like if you get fouled in the act of shooting, what do they call that?
Okay, there's another
continuation.
All right, there's another chapter yet to be written. We'll see in a couple of days.
There you go.
See.
That's the answer.
We will
That's
see.
the answer.
Yeah.
I like when you finally come around. You turn that corner.
My thing is, don't kick the dog while he's sleeping, while he's down. Y'all kicking him while he was down. It was bad enough he missed the 2 shots. He already know. He let his team down. He didn't step up in the big moment. And now you're sticking okay.
You poked the man. Yeah,
okay.
Right you did. But but isn't this good fodder for us? I want the smoke, man. I want trash talk. I want chirping. I want wolf tickets. I want it all, man.
Okay.
It gives me something. Last night we were sitting around bored. I'm trying to figure out who we're gonna have on the show. It's it's late, and then I see this like, oh, this is good right here. I can't wait to talk about this. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
That's why people respect Dame, man, because he says, you guys, you don't what he tell Paul George? You ran from the grind.
Exactly.
Right?
And he called them chumps. I said, that's that down 3, 5, 7 in them right there.
Yeah.
Boy. I love that. And see, it was a little, there was some meat behind some of those, those statements, but also it was friendly banter. It was true competition. Sometimes a little serious, sometimes it's not. A respect factor, healthy respect factor on all sides. Look, I loved all of it.
So I guess,
Don't
me
throw
too.
water on
so
that.
I guess we could say like LeBron has run from the grind a lot. I guess so.
Oh boy,
I guess we could say the same thing. I mean,
there's some truth to
he,
that.
he's
I'm
run. You know, he's teamed up with a couple of
I'm
guys,
I'm
couple
on
of
your side with
teams.
that one. I'm on your side with that one.
So
I'm
my
with you on
hats
that
off
one.
to Damian Lillard to stay in Portland, which is not a mega city, a mega
That's the
market,
grind.
and
Rip
he
City.
stayed there, and he's he's trying to get a championship there. So my
Yes.
hats off to him.
He is. Hey, Rip City, baby. I like the fact that he turned a negative into a positive. Like they're doing this because they respect me. They know how
Right.
big I am, and I love that. That's how you do it. You just he almost like he trolled them. So it was
Yeah,
good in
exactly
his
what he
response. It was
did.
classy. Actually, it wasn't classy and it wasn't ratchet. It was clatchet. That's what it is. Let's move on. Let's go to the NFL. Chandler Jones. What do you have? 19 and a half sacks last year, a little less than 20 last year. Look, great talent. Came out of Syracuse, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. You saw that second and third year, when he got up to 10, 11 sacks with the Pats. They were going to have to pay him. Belichick wasn't. I also had some synthetic weed in there. I had that episode before a playoff game, I remember as well. But look, Belichick just basically said, look, I can't afford this guy. We can't pay everyone. Went to Arizona, got the money, and I think he's underpaid, actually. He got a big contract, and he's actually outperformed that contract. He made a proclamation this week. He wants to break the sack record. We know it's 22 and a half. Michael Strahan, when he got that sack against Brett Favre. We've seen people come close to it. J.J. Watt, 21-22. We've seen who Justin Houston, I believe, got 22 4, 5, 6 years ago, right? If I'm not mistaken. Aaron Donald?
He was the last guy to come close with 20 and a half in 2018.
That's right. Question is, D-Dubs, we'll start with you since you got in here. Will Chandler Jones break the record this year? I'm on the record to say I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Now, they have added some talent, but he's not going to break it.
No, I don't think he's going to break it. I think he's a good player. I don't think
Fantastic. He's freaking all-pro.
He's an all-pro.
You can't get much better than that. 2 Pro Bowls and an all-pro. That's 3 Pro Bowls. That's pretty good.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think another year or two, another 1 to 2 solid years, 12 to 15 sacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be 5 Pro Bowls, probably 3 or 4 All Pros, probably 4 or 5 seasons of 10, 12, double-digit sacks, 5 of them. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I need to see more. Probably 2 more, at least 2 more.
I think everyone knows he's a really good player. It comes from great bloodlines. He's just kind of quiet to me. Is he that guy that you game plan for? You got to know where he is. But
last year, to get almost 20 sacks on that defense with
that
nobody,
team,
on that front seven.
I don't know. I just don't think he's going to get it. I think he'll get double-digit sacks. He's not the guy that I think is going to break that record. That's just me. Look at guys like Strahan, Aaron Donald. He's a defensive tackle, really. He's not a pass rusher, even though he's an interior pass rusher.
Absolutely.
If I had to bet on it, I would say no, he would not get that record. I don't think the Cardinals are a very good team either. So
they have improved, though. You look at it. You got Nuke. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Hopkins. You still got Kyler Murray. That offense is going to be good. You got Larry Fitzgerald. We got a guy, Kenyon Drake, we had on the show.
I'm not drinking the quarterbacks.
They've added some pieces on defense. I think they're going to be better, D-Dubs. Now, will they win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. But can they win 9 games and maybe upset the apple cart and maybe knock somebody out, drag somebody down? Maybe like your Seahawks, somebody like that, and maybe force them. No, not beat them and overtake them in the division, but how about cost them home field or something like that?
9 games is a lot.
Maybe make them a 5 or a 6 seed instead of a 1 seed, which is the difference between the Super Bowl and probably going home in the first round.
Well, also we need to talk about, isn't it this year? And I was going back and forth with a friend that this year they're expanding the playoffs this year.
No,
I think it's this year.
No,
I thought it was next year.
No, they're not. They're not expanding the playoffs this year. I don't think so.
We got to check on that because I've gone back and forth, and I kept saying it's next year, but I've read an article or two that's saying it's this year that they've changed it. So, and it was normally 6 on 6,
right?
Two buys, but
I think there's just 1 bye now. So it would be what they would be. It would be 7 or 8 teams they would add now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I still think that the Cardinals are the 4th best team they're the 4th best team in their own division. So I don't see 9 wins coming out of them, honestly. They play the toughest division of football.
Yeah, that division is no joke.
With the Niners, Seahawks at the top. And, I don't think the Rams are going to be as good, but they got a really good
12 to
coach.
14 teams. You're right. So 7 on each side. So the top
So-
seed is the only one that gets a bye. So you're right.
Right. Yeah. So the door will be open for him, but I'm not drinking the Kyler Murray Kool-Aid. So,
All right.
And that's what my question is.
Offensive player of the year last year, offensive rookie of the year.
Someone had to win it.
Yeah.
That's all that means. Somebody had to win it.
Right.
Who else are you going to give it to?
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, but he did win it. Just like John Morant. I mean, who else are you going to give it to? I mean, you could give it to Zion, but he didn't play enough games. So, but he's still a pretty good talent, showing some promise. Hey, Willie, your thoughts? Will Chandler Jones break the sack record?
You know, I think he has the ability to do it. I don't think he'll do it this year because when I was looking at some of the things that Michael Strahan did in that 2001 season when he broke the record, he also had two people on the defense as well that had at least 6 sacks, Keith Hamilton and Michael Barrow. And then you look at the Cardinals, they only had one person last year that had 5.5 sacks. So with that being said, for him to break that record, it's not just about him. It's about the other people that they've made those additions. It's one thing you make those additions in free agency. It's another thing for those additions to perform. So for those guys they would have to perform at a high level as well. Those additions that they made, those improvements that they think that they made, those guys will have to perform at a high level for him to have a shot at it, in my estimation. But as we said, even last week, when we were talking about Joey Bosa again, like this guy signed a deal and it's 31 million guaranteed, and Joey Bosa got 78 million guaranteed. And Joey Bosa in the last couple of years is not as good as Chandler Jones. And to Dee's point, yes, he is quiet, but I think part of being quiet is a function of not winning. And I think if they won more, if he was on a team that won more, I think more people would know about him.
Yeah, we'll see. Hall of Famer, and if not, what will it take for him to get there?
I think it'll take a couple more years for him to have double-digit sacks again, because he's going to have to overcome the fact that if he stays in Arizona and they stay on this perpetual rebuilding project, he'll be known for being on a team that's not very good. And then again, we'll start talking about, are you affecting wins and losses, and how impactful are the stats that you're accumulating? In basketball, we see this with Sharif Abdul-Rahim, right? 20 and 10 for almost his whole career. People question, how good is he?
Yeah.
And
really never elevated the team, but I mean, it was tough in that time. So yeah.
Right. So I think
that's a very good comp. That's a very good comp, because initially when you said Sharif Abdul-Rahim, I'm like, probably not. Really good, but not Hall of Fame good. So Chandler Jones, when you say Chandler Jones, I perk up a little bit like I'm listening. So that means he's not there yet. Like I said, you give him 2 more years, definitely 3, but 2 more, I think he probably gets in, D-Dubs. I really do mean that.
And
what would it take for you, real quickly, in 10 seconds? Go.
Around 20 sacks the next 2 years, around that mark.
And get to that, overcome the fact that they're not good.
Then, I mean, from what A. Willie is saying,
look, he played in big games, won a Super Bowl, went to 2 or 3 AFC Championship games, went to a Super Bowl, he won 1. So he's played in some big games. He's just on a bad team now.
Yeah, and he played with some pretty good defenses with some good guys around him.
That's what people are going to say. And Belichick and Brady.
Right. So either you got to be a guy that has some good pieces around you, or
I'll push back on that.
Beast.
Patriots really don't. It's Belichick. It's the plan. It's the game
plan.
It's the scheme. Because when you look at those teams that he played on, 12, 13, the 14 team was damn good because they had Revis and Browner. I mean, they were loaded. But 12 and 13, 12 and 13, they weren't loaded and still got to the AFC Championship game. That was part of the problem. It's like, dude, I mean, they had some injuries and things of that nature, but I don't want to get into too much of it. But they weren't loaded teams. And not Cal Love starting at defensive tackle. They weren't loaded teams. Trust me. They got Mark Anderson, guys like that off the street, rushing the passer. But Belichick can do that. He can take guys from Dorchester and win games.
And he's going to get the credit for that.
Exactly. Yeah. But he was a beast on those teams. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Let's keep it in the NFL. Lambeau Field. And guys, I want to get your thoughts here. We talked about it. They said they would have reduced capacity this year with the GM out there with the Packers. Now it's coming out that they will not have any fans, at least the first 2 games of the season. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, why don't the rest of the league take this tack? You know what I'm saying? Move in this direction. Is this the way to go and not have any fans? Or are you okay with some fans and maybe 15 to 20% capacity, like we talk about, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 fans?
What have I been preaching for the last couple of weeks? No fans.
Derwin don't want nobody doing nothing.
Nobody. Nobody.
Nobody
Nah.
misses, nobody gets hurt.
Why should one stadium have some fans and then other stadiums have no fans?
Because that's home field. It's quirky.
Right. There should be no home field. Even the playing field for everyone else. Even
no.
Yes.
That's not how we do things.
Yes.
No.
Let's have people sit home and watch DirecTV. Get the ticket. Yeah. Let them sit at home. Come on.
Derwin, this is America. We don't do it that way.
Listen, you want to be safe? Stay behind in the house.
Okay, that's a different story.
Stay in the house.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. As long as you stay on the COVID, don't get on the competition.
Come on, man. It's going to change the game because, for example, the first game of the season, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans in that stadium, when it's raucous, when you got that thing full, you can't hear.
Deal with it.
Brady and them got to go on a silent count.
Deal with it.
How much different is that game going to be now with no fans?
I've seen the Patriots go in there and get skull drug on a Monday night. I was there. And then I saw them go in there 2 or 3 years ago and kick the daggone Saints around like they were nobody's daggone business. So I've seen both ends of it.
But hey, let them go in there. Now you don't have to worry about a silent count. You can hear everything. Let them just play. Let them play. No 6-man, no 12-man. Let them play.
Let me ask you about the spoils of victory. Isn't it much sweeter when you can go into someone's house and kick their ass? Isn't it, Derwin?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And now I want to do it, and you have no excuses that you can hear. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuses. Everybody's even. Let's go. Let's line up. Let's suit up, face mask to face mask, and you take this L. Let's go.
Derwin, I think he just won that argument. I think that's the second time in 4 months he's beat me. He shut me up. That was some Jedi mind stuff right there. That was pretty good, Derwin. Hey, Willie, your thoughts on the Packers and Lambeau Field?
You know, what's interesting to me is the economics part of it that really sticks out. For them to say this for a team that's in a quote unquote small market, you know, the Packers are responsible in terms of economic impact about $170 million annually. So for them to say, you know what, from a safety standpoint, we want to make sure that we just don't have anybody in here. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the gift shops, all of that. I think that says a lot. I think it says a whole lot for them to do that. I think everybody else, especially when you start looking at the numbers where we are from a COVID perspective, I think everybody else should follow suit.
All right, we were going to talk a little Darius, guys. So we'll come back and get to that here in a second. Let's head to the phone lines here, guys. They're live on esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll take your phone calls, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID esportsXTRA. That's 377-678-9872. Larry Ridley here, SNY TV, little NBC Sports, Madden NFL, NBA 2K League guide. A Willie with the hoodie today, the former NBA scout, and Derwin Worrell, fellow sportscaster, NABJ. Let's go ahead and bring in someone that's part of NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, fellow TV sportscaster as well, out there by the Bay. Let's go ahead and bring in Jason Dumas. Jason, man, are you staying warm out there by the Bay? It's crazy out there, man, in the East Bay in San Francisco this time of year.
Yeah, man, I'm staying warm. I know you're probably seeing some of the PGA Championship coverage. You see the golfers all bundled up. They're being a little dramatic. It's about 60, 65 here. We're hanging in.
Hey, I was there in 2007. I was in Boston at the NBC station, HDH, and we went out there for the All-Star game at AT&T Park following, David Ortiz and those guys. And I'll never forget, my news director called me and said, "Why do you have on a suit coat?" I'm like, "Just because it's July and it's 90 degrees in Boston." I'm like, "It's 58 right now in San Fran." And she's like, "Really?" Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, they don't play out here in July."
I'll give you that. It gets cold at that ballpark over there where the Giants play because it's right on the water. You get that breeze in, especially when the sun goes down. It does get really chilly over there.
Thank you for backing me up, brother. We're talking here to Jason Dumas, KRON TV out there in the Bay Area, the TV sports director out there. Jason, want to get your thoughts on this, of course, making some headlines and big news over the last couple of days. The bench coach for the Oakland Athletics, Ryan Christensen, caught on camera. I believe it was by fellow NBC Sports Bay Area cameras out there with the Hitler salute They're on camera playing around with the closer out there as well. The closer had to tell him, kind of cut that nonsense out. He did apologize, did not deny it. The team is standing by him. The club, Major League Baseball, is standing behind him. What the hell is going on in the Bay Area, and how's this thing playing out in San Fran and Oakland?
Well, especially, in the times right now where, social justice is at the forefront, it immediately made the waves, went viral pretty much soon after he did it. And, a lot of people are calling for his job. I can't lie. That's been the overwhelming reaction from my point of view. But from the A's point of view, it's business as usual. Now, they didn't excuse what he did, and they said it was an unfortunate situation, but they're standing behind Christensen. They're saying that it's not in his character. It was an accident. He didn't intentionally mean to do what he did. And, Bob Melvin said, I'd say he's a very progressive person.
Yep.
And, everybody feels bad for him right now. So, the A's are standing behind him. And, from my point of view, I know this isn't popular, in our society right now, but I do try to take a step back and see things from everyone's perspective before I call for a person's head, for lack of a better word. And, the A's is not just white people who are standing behind this guy. Obviously what he did was anti-Semitic, so it's not really a white or black thing, but he has support from people who all don't look alike, if that makes sense. And I want to believe the people who know him best. And I think it was an off-color joke. He shouldn't have done it, and I think he knew what he was doing. But from my point of view, I don't think he sincerely meant what he was doing. I think he was like, "Oh man, wow, I just did that," and started laughing about it. He shouldn't have done it, but I'm not sitting here calling for the man's head. I'm going to listen to the people who know him best. I don't see any reason for the A's standing behind him so strongly if they didn't have to. It would be very easy to let someone go for something like that during these times, because it is so at the forefront and everything is everything is bigger. So I think, hey, they're standing behind this guy. They're probably right.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy from a can of paint.
Gotcha. Jason, let me ask you this. Liam Hendricks was coming off after the save, and then he gives him that symbol, like, that sound, like sticks his hand down, like, cut it out, knock it off. I guess that's what people see, like, and then he did it again the second time.
Yeah.
He did apologize. Also, people also look, I work at SNY here in TV here in New York. So we got Bruce Maxwell here, the Mets signed him not too long ago. He was on that team. He was the one that kneeled with the A's, and they look at, okay, the A's weren't backing him then. So people are drawing that correlation. Tell us a little more about the organization and their philosophy. It seems like you're saying that you're comfortable knowing that this is a good organization. They promote social justice, and they're about equality.
Yeah, they are. They've never given me any reason to doubt them, me personally. And like I said, in a time where if someone does anything a little off the mark, it's easier to just cut your ties. Let's be honest, this is a bench coach. It's not like it was Bob Melvin or someone who would have a severe impact on the organization if they let him go. Life would go on if they let Ryan Christensen go. It's really not that serious, his position in the the clubhouse. So the fact that they're going so hard to defend him probably means that they're right. And like, it was an off-color joke. We don't know if he did it on purpose, or it's so hard, like, to actually pinpoint whether, yeah, I knew what I was doing and I was joking about it, or I didn't even realize I was doing it. It's hard to know what is truth, but look, the A's have always been a stand-up organization from my point of view. I've covered this team for 2 years now, and I've never had any sort of ill will or any sort of, feelings that they didn't do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Melvin is kind of the leader in that right. And Bob Melvin seems like a stand-up guy, and he has been a stand-up guy from my dealings with him over the past 2 years. So if he tells me that this Ryan Christensen guy is a good dude and it was unfortunate, then I'm going to take him at his word. Now, if something else happens, obviously there should be zero toleration. But I don't think anything else is going to happen. And, I think life goes on, and that's pretty much how I see it. Now, I understand that other people are going to have different opinions on that. I understand what he did could bring a lot of pain to people, especially Jewish people.
Yep.
And if they feel stronger about it than I do, I understand. Now, and at the same time, if Ryan Christensen had lost his job, I wouldn't have been up in arms either.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it from the point of view of this clubhouse. The players, the manager, and the owner all went to bat for this guy, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And, they said he's sorry, they apologized, but they said they're behind him and they're not going to fire him.
All right.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah. Talking here to KRON TV sports director Jason Dumas here live on esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Jason. You look at Deshaun Jackson. I don't want to vilify people. As long as people take, apologize and take ownership of it, I think this could be a teachable moment. So we'll see how this all plays out on the East Bay, in the East Bay, and also nationally. Across the country and also globally and internationally as well. Let's talk about the A's on the field, Jason. You get to cover this thing. You've got intimate knowledge of the Oakland Athletics, small market team, money ball, all those things out there with Billy Beane and things we've seen in the past. This team has not lost a game in the month of August, Jason. 8 straight. They won again last night. Hotter than lava right now, hotter than Nevada. How good is this team? Can they get to the World Series? And can they upset the apple cart here in the American League? Because, we got the big bag Yankees out of here on the East Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this team can win a World Series. I don't want to ruin all the good mojo that they have, by praising them too much. But this team is really good. They won 97 games the past 2 years. They went to the playoffs. They got in that tough one-game playoff situation that baseball had the past 2 years, and they lost both times. So it's easy to forget just how good they were over 162 games. 97 wins is a lot of wins. And they're playing in a really good division. The Astros have dominated that division. The Astros are very talented. Obviously they have that cloud over their head right now with the cheating scandal. But the A's have always been good. And this year with the Astros kind of having that cloud over them and the A's stepping up, why can't they make the World Series? They have the best bullpen in baseball. They have bats 1 through 8 that can be productive, and they have the pitchers now. They have 2 young studs who are coming off injuries. This is going to be a tough out once we get to September, October. And, this is the best A's team that I've seen since I've been here covering. It's the 3rd A's team, and it's the best of the 3, and the 2 previous ones, 97 games. So, this team is a team that people are going to have to look out for, and Oakland really needs it. I don't want to speak for everyone in the town, but I've been here long enough to see that they felt when the Warriors left and went across the bay to San Francisco. Yes, they're still in the Bay Area, but they left the town and now they're in the city. The Raiders, left the town for Las Vegas. that hurt the fans. You know, this fan base needs this Oakland Athletics team to be successful. It'll be such a morale boost for them from a sports point of view. Now, there are some proud people over here in Oakland that kind of remind me of the people of Philadelphia where I come from. So they're not going to tell you straight up that their feelings are hurt because of everything else, but they are, and it's okay. It's okay because, you know, to lose 2 sports franchises and, you know, that might not be the right word when you're talking about the Warriors, but those teams were in their backyard. They were all right there in Oakland, and 2 of them left, and no one was happy about it over there in the town. And now this A's team, they're clicking on all cylinders, and they're trying to get a new stadium built. They're already in discussions for that, but you know, people in Oakland, they're still not sold. Is it going to get done? Because you've seen what happened to their other 2 teams. So they live by I'll believe it when I see it type philosophy. And if this team makes a deep playoff run, that's only going to put more pressure on the city to finally break ground and start building that new stadium.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I was just about to bring up. I know the A's fans are loyal, but playing in that old Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum, when you got sewage running around in there and backing up in the stadium.
Oh man,
we've seen. So yeah, they need a new stadium so they can keep that team, which showed all small market teams basically how to win in Major League Baseball with the money ball. Jason, man, really appreciate it, man. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know you got the PGA. The championship out there, man. We really do appreciate it. You're always welcome here, man, and we look forward to leaning on you when it's time to talk 49ers and Bay Area sports, anything with the Bay Area that's included in that. So we really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, and I'll hop back on with you anytime, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. I'll make sure you bundle up, man. Wear a hoodie or something, or a turtleneck or something out there in the Bay Area today.
I'll be all right, man. I'm from Philadelphia. We'll be cool out here.
Yes, sir. Philly, stand up, baby. All right, Jason, take care, man. Be good, broski. All right, that's Jason Dumas, KRON TV out there in the Bay Area, sports director, doing some very good work out there covering the A's, the Giants. You think about it, the 49ers, all those Bay Area teams, Warriors, of course, won 3 titles in the last 5 or 6 years. So doing some good stuff, guys. Let's go back to Darius, guys, who we're getting on that. I'm a little bit of a hurry because I want to get out of here in about the next 30 minutes. Your thoughts here, Darius, guys. Looks like at least multiple charges. Looks like at least 3 of them out there, domestic violence charges, 3 that occurred earlier this year. One of them, strangulation. Washington football team did let him go. Your thoughts on this? This is a tough one. It's an easy decision. It's not tough. It's tough to sort of talk about. It's uncomfortable, especially with us 3 guys here. I wish we had Renee or somebody here to sort of be able to, be the voice, the powerful voice for women here. Not happy with this. I was talking to Coach K. We're like, all right, you think he's going to get another shot? I'm like, there's no video with this one, but man, it's multiple charges and one being strangulation. I'm like, he might be too toxic, man, to come back. I mean, just your thoughts on this, guys, in that lens there. We'll start with you, D-Dubs.
5 different charges, 1 felony count of strangulation, 3 counts of assault and battery, and 1 count of destruction of property.
3 different instances as well.
Yeah, and the climate that the Washington football team is in, they moved swiftly. They didn't waste any time, but cutting this guy loose.
Oh, not with my girl Julie Donaldson taking over. If you know her backstory, hell no.
Yeah, right. And they just had a situation with 15 women coming out and talking about the culture there. So Ron Rivera, this is not his draft pick. This guy was drafted in 2018. And when he was drafted from LSU, there was questions about his maturity. And he fell to the 2nd round. And then you top it off with, he's always been hurt. He's not really played. And Ron Rivera didn't draft him. So Ron Rivera is trying to change the culture. He's trying to let people know that this is going to be a new regime. You got to cut a guy like this loose. You can't even wait to see the legal ramifications, see how it plays out. You just got to cut him loose and, let it play out in courts. But as far as him playing football, he's a running back. He's constantly hurt. Yeah, there is no video, but you can get running backs just about anywhere. So I don't know if he's going to get another shot, but he's still young. But he needs to get his life together. Yeah. And whatever demons or whatever might be going on, get that stuff straightened out. But he in this climate that we're in, where you got to stop mistreating women. I don't know if he's going to get another shot again.
Antonio, I was sad for him. I really was. When I read it, I was like, oh, look, one account, one case, one charge of domestic violence is too much. But to have 4 counts, 3 different instances, one including strangulation, I went back and I thought about, Ray Rice, the video, horrible, can't play. I believe in second chances, but some things it's like, dude, it's hard for people to defend you. Kareem Hunt kicking the chick, that wasn't, very video, and he got another shot. You know what I'm saying? But when you throw in the word strangulation, that's more than just an act of maybe I lost my cool for a second. That's I don't know, Antonio. I don't know if he's going to get another shot if that one sticks. This thing needs to play out in the court, but if that strangulation stick, that's a little too much visually, man, for some people, for a lot of people, for all of us, it should be.
No, agreed. I think it is too much for all of us. And as you all said, I'm all for second chances. But it's very, we're in a different climate. This is even a different climate now than when we had the situation with Greg Hardy. It's just a different climate and that was before we had some of the things that we've seen come out, not just in football. We've had issues in esports. We've had issues in professional wrestling recently. That have all come out where people are speaking up now. So when you take that into account, and in addition to what Dee was saying about the Washington football team, the things that happen within their organization with some of the staffers there, and then the other thing that they have going on as well, this team also signed Reuben Foster. So with all of the things that this team has sort of had issues with, it all speaks loudly to, of course, these are acts that should not be committed, but it also speaks to the insensitivity, which is also around the name change as well. When you heard Daniel Snyder talking about that, and this organization is now trying to do a complete 180 from that, and rightfully so. With all of those circumstances taken into account, I find they did the right thing again, and I'm not the judge, the jury, but they absolutely did the right thing with letting him go. And I with everything that's going on, and again, how the climate has shifted, I don't know if another organization wants to take that shot, especially given the fact that,
Sure.
and what Dee was saying with Kareem Hunt, and I hate to say it like this, but there was it was on video. This was before some of the other stuff has come out. And the other thing, there was production that was also tied with that. Mm-hmm. So people would be willing to take those darks that come with it for a time, right? But with this particular player, there was no production. So I just don't, again, I don't want to be the person writing someone off.
Sure.
But again, as you said, Larry, with that, some of the things that were said, if that's the truth, yeah. I just.
Some of the allegations are troubling. That's
right.
Just bottom line. The strangulation, right. D-Dubs mentioned it, 5 counts, 3 different instances this year alone. I'm like,
all within months of each other.
Yeah, let's let this young man get his life together. Let's no more talking about football. Just figure it out, get him some help, and then we can get back to this another time. Right now, this needs to be shelved. It needs to be couched and put away. Antonio Brown hasn't played. He's played once in the last year. He's going to miss at least 8 games this year. So he's going to miss 23 games over 2 years. Darius Geis, you're probably going to miss all of this year and likely a lot of next year too. So get your life together, and maybe you can get second chances, but be like Michael Vick when you come back. Be an advocate and make sure that you never do anything like this ever again.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Total contrition.
But he's still young. Total contrition. That's the word. And you better be about their life. You better be able, be able to walk it and talk it at the same time. So you're absolutely right on that. Let's go to the baseball diamond. Cubs and Cards. The series was canceled this week. 7 positive tests for the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe 13 in the traveling party. Breaking news last night, I believe it came out. They just canceled their game on Monday, tomorrow as well. Guys, the Cardinals haven't played since July the 29th. That was like last year. Now, seriously, what was that like? That's like 12 days ago, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
Holy cow, it was 2 weeks. They're going to go literally 13, bare minimum 13 days before games, maybe even 14 by the time they play again, if they play Tuesday or Wednesday. This is what we talk about with competitive imbalance. We saw the Marlins go through it. Oh, I think they just lost their second game last night. The Mets finally beat them, and that was their second loss. I don't know how they're going to make up the schedule and things of that nature. We see the 7-inning doubleheaders, which we saw the Yankees and other teams participate in. What's your concern level here with COVID spikes? And, like you can deal with a handful, maybe 2 or 3. You get to more than a handful, it's like, oh boy, we got to shut it down. And now everybody's impacted.
I don't know when enough is going to be enough. And now you look at the Cardinals, they're going to have to play 55 games in 49 days. so they're going to have
that again. What?
55 games in 49 days? I mean, you're going to
miss 13 days.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of double headers, a lot of 7-inning double headers. And this is what Major League Baseball has signed up for. So I don't know when enough is going to be enough. I don't know when they're going to say, you know what, that's too much. We got to shut it down. They're going to still continue for whatever reason to try to finish the season.
We know the reason.
It's a sprint to that tape, dog. You know what I'm talking about.
That's it. So, you know the reason.
They're trying to get to the playoffs, and then you have less teams to worry about, I guess. But the commissioner said he's not a quitter, so I guess this is not enough for him to throw in the towel. So we have to wait and see.
You don't need to be a quitter, my friend.
That's what it is.
Virus, as D-Dubs has taught us all, and I agreed way back when, the virus is in control, my friend.
No question. No doubt. For me, one of the things that when we talked about this initially that I was concerned about, again, was when we have, I know that we've sort of made advancements in terms of getting those testing results, but when you still have that, as people have been impacted and infected with the virus, you're still having news come out about people on their team coming out with new positive tests. So that's what I was getting at when I was talking about, okay, we know the initial, but there's going to be something else that's coming
because
after
everything
that.
lags.
Right.
Exactly when it comes to COVID. You're right.
Exactly right. So now we're hearing about other people testing positive. The other thing that's been talked about and made public as well is people going to the emergency room. So it's not just testing positive and you just being asymptomatic. We're talking about people exhibiting those symptoms. That just came out, that some of those players had to go to the emergency room because of the symptoms. Wow. So with that being said, I just look at it, it makes me feel bad again, because we start talking about what Odell Beckham is saying, where you see me as a superhuman, so I can go out here and subject myself to anything. And then off the field, you see me as what Jimmy Butler said you see me as.
Right.
So with that being said, I think a lot of that is at work as well. And so with that being said, it's exactly what Dee was saying. I don't know how much more of this we need to see before people say, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea, especially since we're not in a bubble, and totally isolating people.
Yeah, and I also look at it, just to be fair and play devil's advocate, people also look at it like, look, frontline workers go to work, bus drivers, everyone that, that's on the front lines. And, I guess we'll call them workers that
essential
or necessary.
Yeah.
Exactly. Baseball is not essential.
It's not essential. It's not essential, but it's essential that you get that money.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean,
question.
It's not essential that you and I have to work, Durham, but here we are, right? Now, look, we're at the comforts of our own home, but Coach K and I, we went down to Atlanta. We took that risk. Why?
For what? Them coins?
It was that we got that money. We want the coins. And I'm not talking about Chuck E. Cheese coins.
There it is.
Real coins. So it's tough, guys. It's because I really look. I'm a Libra, so naturally I'm going to see both sides. I mean, come on, man. You can't tell people stay at home. I mean,
yes, you can.
Yeah, you want to pay
them? You can.
Yes, you can.
No, you can, but how are you going to get paid? Not everybody gets paid. That's the point.
Baseball, their contracts, most of them are guaranteed contracts.
No, if you don't play, that's force majeure, man. You ain't getting paid this year. You might get a small percentage. You ain't getting all of it. Remember, Cespedes left $2 million on the table. That's all he was going to get for 60 games.
But you act like he didn't make money the year before.
Oh, no, see, that's a different story.
You spent all your coinage? Come on, man.
That is true, but not everybody makes $10 or $20 million. There are some guys in the league, contrary to popular belief, 75 to 80% of them make like league minimum. If that was the case, baseball wouldn't last.
They're not making AAA money. They making some money.
They're making some money, but still, bro. Look, if you're making, look, I mean, I'm not going to complain or cry. Look, if you're making $500,000 or $700,000, that's pretty good coin. But in my estimation, because I've seen life and I've seen it from all sides, you are by no means rich and well off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what, Coach K? What's my saying all the time? I do okay. I can go buy groceries. I can pay my bills.
I got 4 kids.
I got 4 kids. I'll start with it. I got 4 kids, and yes, no, I'm not rich. I can pay my bills. I can put gas in my truck whenever I want to. When I go to Walmart, I don't have to worry about how much the milk is that day. Am I rich? Hell no. Hell no. So there you go. So I feel the brunt of it, right? Like, there's only so many off days I can take.
But some of these guys are making millions of dollars.
Okay, that's some of them. Most of them
the
are
milk
not.
still costs the same.
It does.
The milk still costs the same at Walmart.
You know how this goes, right?
You got to manage your money, though. You got to save something for a rainy day.
That's true, but there's only what is it? What's the old saying? You can't get blood from a turnip, right? But look, if you are not bringing in zero income, it doesn't matter how much you have made. You're still milking, brother.
Sell one of them cars. You don't need 5 cars.
You're talking about LeBron James and Mike Trout.
You don't need.
I'm not talking about those guys.
You got a 4-car garage and 8 cars. Come on, man. You got to. There's some of these guys.
That is true. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for me rolling down the street in a Hummer. They're gonna be like, dude, don't talk to me. But you know what I'm. Hey, Willie, back me up. You know what I'm saying? There is a balance here. There's a delicate balancing act when it's like, look, I believe we should shut down the economy, right? Because if you don't have a healthy economy, healthy people, the economy is going to suffer anyway. All I'm saying is, if you're going to tell people to stay at home and literally not move, not engage, not do a damn thing, then you have to take care of them. That's all I'm saying. You can't expect people to sit at home for 6 months to a year and say, oh, you should have saved your money. How do you know what I got? How do you know what I got to pay for? You need income to pay for things. Those bills don't stop, right?
No, they don't. Well, they stop for a little bit.
You know this better than anybody.
I mean, in New York, for like 3 months, they said no one can be evicted. You know?
No, you're not going to be evicted, but you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a nice little tab at the end, right?
And they said, the rent can be late.
Excuse me? That's different. Banks, that's different. If you own a home, you put it on the back end, you're still going to pay it, but it's a lot different than when you're renting, which most of us do. That's a bill that's waiting on you.
It could be late, not canceled.
Exactly.
But at least they will work with you.
Oh, work with me. Thank you for giving me a $10,000 bill when I get to go back to work.
It's better than being evicted and you don't have a roof over your head.
You ain't got to worry about being evicted if the landlord sells the place.
Oh boy. Yeah. Joey, let me ask you this. You personally, okay, you need some help, right? Your rent is $2,000 to $3,000 a month. You can't pay. You can't do anything for 6 months. God forbid it's a year. Say it's $3,000 a month, 12 months. That's $36,000. That's a bill that's due. Okay, the economy's back up and running. Where are you getting $36,000, dog?
A lot of money to try to get.
Exactly. That's why when people say, "Hey, you don't have to pay it this month," okay, when do I have to pay it? Because I know I'm going to have to pay it. But
that's that little side of what we're talking about. We're not talking about you and I. We're talking about
some of these guys are just 100,000-aires. Most of them are 100,000-aires.
100,000-aires can pay that 3,600.
They can pay that.
Darwin, no,
they can pay that.
Oh my God, he doesn't get it. And Willie, I can't believe you're falling for this. I'm disappointed in you. Coach Jay is the only one that gets it.
Let me tell you something. If I was making that kind of money, a 6-figure salary, that kind of money,
yeah,
and I didn't work for 6 months, I would, the way I like to handle things and not be beyond my means, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah, but you know, keeping up with the Joneses.
I ain't trying to keep up with nobody named Jones.
Hey, but that's a lot of people.
That's the problem.
What
that's
about
the
those
problem
42 million people out of? What about the? I mean, that you guys are. I think you're getting into this other lane that I'm not trying to jump into. What about the 42 million people that are? Look at it sort of commensurate, right? On your scale and your salary, not what someone making $250,000 or $500,000 is. Yeah, they're gonna. They can absorb some things, but they still got, the bills coming. Right. You know what I'm saying? The bill is due. Even if it's you, say, your rent's, $1,500 to $2,000 a month. You make no money. That's going to be hard for you to make when you got to come back for 6 months and you got to pay $12,000 and it's due. That's hard.
It's tough. It's tough on the
Now, would it be
that
nice
has
if you
less.
got a supplement?
Yeah. Well, you got to talk to your government about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's all sort of intertwined. We're all in this. Everybody's saying sit down and shut it down. Well, where are the people saying, okay, here's how we can help you?
So what's the other alternative?
That's what I'm saying.
Running around the country just passing COVID?
No, you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Have you not looked at the southern map right now?
Yeah, I have, but I also saw. I don't know if you saw this new study where they're saying about 40 to 50% of the people have complete no symptoms at all. Not only asymptomatic, but exhibit no symptoms at all, and that's actually great news for us as a country when it comes to COVID, when it comes to therapeutics, antibodies, and things of that nature. Those what do they call them? The killer T cells or whatever. That's good, and it's sort of into this. I'm not a big herd immunity guy, but I do believe for a lot of people they exhibit. It's almost like fighting off a common cold, right? And I don't want to get into this, conspiracy theory stuff with Trump and some of his people, but all I'm saying is, for every action, there's a reaction, right? If you want me to sit at home and do nothing for a year, okay, what are you going to do for me? That's all I'm saying. Have a plan. Don't just say sit at home. You can't just tell people don't do it and don't sit at home.
That's here.
Yeah.
Because that's here.
All right.
Go ahead, D.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why, elections have consequences.
There you go.
When you put somebody at the top that really don't know, he don't know what he's doing, and now we got, something to deal with, and he's like, it's going to vanish, it's going to go away when the weather get warm.
I got one word for you. I got,
and he's telling you, all this other stuff. Come on, man.
I got one word for you, masking. Just like Coach K said, man, masking. You know what I'm saying?
saying?
Wear your damn mask, wash your hands, wash your ass too.
Yeah, right.
No long gatherings.
Look, Larry, which is to your point, which is so crazy to me that I look like, and people are all of a sudden there's this emphasis on focus on washing your hands and hygiene. I'm like, facts. I'm like, what were you doing before then?
Right.
Like, that's just odd to me.
Sure. Yeah, but Dorian, you're absolutely right. Look, we have to take care of the health of this country, and that's vital. It's important. But man, all I'm saying is no one's ever given me a good answer. Like, oh, just shut it down. Okay, shut it down and do what? People got to work. People got to live. I know a lot of people that are suffering, dude. I feel almost bad. It's shameful at times. I'm almost ashamed. Like, we're actually doing well during this, and I'm ashamed to say that, but we are. And I know a lot of people that are not. And I care about those people. That's all. I know a lot of people that are freaking hurting, man. It's life and death for a lot of people. And you just can't say, shut it down and sit at home. That's all. Yeah. Real quickly, guys. We're getting late. Let's get out of here in the next 20 minutes. Because you guys are good. That's why. Trevor Lawrence, D-Dubs, he brought this up. He thought he might not play. He never said he wasn't going to play. But he's like, I'm sure he's thinking about it. You got to wonder about some of these guys, Justin Fields, some of these top stars. Right. He did come out the other day. He says he's definitely going to play. But he did admit he definitely thought about it. Your thoughts here, D-Dubs, on Trevor Lawrence. He will play the 2020 season.
He's taking a risk. He's a top pick. He could be a top number 1 pick, depending on what team that's there. He's definitely a top 5 pick. He doesn't have to play. His resume speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. He's got enough film. No need for him to play. But I read a couple of articles last night from a couple of ADs, and some of them are saying that it's just a matter of time before this whole thing with college football just gets shut down. It's just a matter of time. We're
going to get into that. You're right about that. I'm worried. But then again, I saw some people saying, you know what, I'll save that. Go ahead, A. Willie.
For me, it's not surprising that Trevor Lawrence said that he was going to play when you had a situation at Clemson earlier this year with everything that we have going on, and your coach is wearing a shirt that says football matters on it. So with that being the mentality of the program and the people that are leading the program, I'm not shocked at all that Trevor Lawrence is saying, I'm going to play football this year.
Yeah, and everyone follows, Dabo Swinney down there. I got no problem with it, but you're right, Derwin. It almost tells me that I like his mentality. I like his heart. I like his drive that he's like, I'm not going to bail on my team. It's not that he has to. And trust me, no one is a bigger advocate of looking out for number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely that guy, but I can appreciate the fact he's like, I'm going to go out here and ball, play with my guys, try to win this second chip, go to 3 straight, national championship games and really leave my mark and legacy on college football and, of course, this university down in Clemson, South Carolina. Let's continue with the MAC. MAC, the first Division I conference to announce they're not going to play football this year. FBS conference, if you will, football bowl subdivision, as Coach Ken and I were talking about last night. At FCS, football championship subdivision, or 1A and 1AA.
There we go.
Yeah. I played in both. It's like I started in 1AA and I finished my career in 1A. So damn it, that's what I'm going with, 1A and 1AA. Your thoughts on the MAC? No action this year, man. Like, whoa, no Miami of Ohio, none of those teams we get to see. No Buffalo, none of these teams. They get to play these early games against the Big Ten, it seems like, every year. Hey, Willie?
And well, see, what you just touched on is the reason why they're not playing. Because you look at Bowling Green in particular, they talked about their $24 million athletic budget. Well, $2.2 million they're going to lose by not playing Ohio State and Illinois. That's just two games. So with that being said, I'm not shocked at all that they made this decision because they can't play those teams and get those big checks. So I'm not surprised by it one bit.
Yeah, because you look at Middle Tennessee, I know they're thinking about playing somebody from the Sun Belt, not once, but twice, like a home and home. And they're doing it. Why? Because they don't have to pay the other team to come play there. So it's basically even. No one's losing any money. You get to keep all your home gate and all of that things if you have some fans, and it's a bus trip. So you're absolutely right on that. Any final thoughts on the MAC football, D-Dubs? I don't want to cut you
off. I mean, that's the first domino for the top D1. So don't be surprised, later this week. So more dominoes will fall.
You think so? With like what other conferences? Like Power Five? I mean, Group of Fives? American, Sun Belt Conference?
Something along those lines. The MAC, start to fall.
Well, Sun Belt did announce they're going to play 8-game conference schedule. You can play up to 12 games. I think Conference USA is doing something very similar. I know my alma mater, Middle Tennessee, they're scheduling a home and home with Troy because they lost out against. We were supposed to play, I think, Duke and I think Vatek. So we don't get the 2 ACC teams, so we got to fill those games. So, yeah.
What are they playing for? Like at the end of the 10 games and the 12 games, conference championship. That's it. Yeah. You play for a bowl?
Well,
that's it.
Well, I mean, what do you get in Group of Five any damn way? You get to play for your conference championship. That's pretty much it, right? Like, and you play for the payday. That's why every year we play 2 or 3. At
big
least
name schools?
Usually 2 or 3 ACC or SEC schools. We always play.
But you're not getting those though.
So no, we're not. You're right. Well, because they're thinking, well, they can make some money, play in the conference. Maybe you get some TV money. Maybe they can offset it a little bit. Maybe if you don't, hey, look, it's a numbers game. I'm just throwing out some numbers. If you shut down the program, maybe it costs you $2 million, right? Scholarships and everything, personnel. Support, things of that nature. Maybe if you play the conference season, all right, it's going to cost us like $3 million, but we'll make 1.5. So now you're looking at a shortfall of $1.5 million. There you go. That's all I can come up with.
And then we're not factoring in when some of these guys start to get COVID because they're playing.
That's true because you're right. They're going to have to do something with that, but they got great insurance. I mean, that's not the biggest concern, but they got to at least see, okay, it's probably we can make a little bit of money. Like I said, the shortfall will be a little smaller than it would be to just completely shut down the program, especially because these schools are kind of like those are schools I feel sorry for. I feel sorry for all of them, but Division 2 and 3, FCS, and then you got the 1A halves and then the 1A have-nots. That's where you get the discrepancy because it's like they're in between. Like Middle Tennessee, almost 30,000 students is like the biggest school in the state of Tennessee. It fluctuates between them and University of Tennessee. Got a pretty decent program, but it's not on the map. There's no national money there. So it's like, it's weird because we were told in the late 90s, guys, if you want to survive, you have to go Division 1. You can't, there will be, when I was playing Division 1 AA, we were being told in the mid 90s, there will be no Division 1 AA in the next 10 to 20 years. Now it's still there, but I think it was wise that our school did make that leap. It added, I think it added value to the school. The endowment went up. You're on TV. Hell, they got people like me flying over the country, go see them playing bowl games and things of that nature, alumni. So I think there is some value to it, but you're right. It's just like COVID, dude. None of these situations and scenarios are very good. They're all like lose-lose. It's like the lesser of two evils every damn time, you know?
Mhm.
So, yeah, you're good point, Derwin. FCS football, they're canceling things, moving things to the spring. North Dakota State, James Madison, some of these heavy hitters that are usually there every year. Good programs that a lot of these 1A schools probably wouldn't want to play. We've seen them knock off some people. We saw App State do that to Michigan, a top 5 program, not too long ago. So you're absolutely correct there. Your thoughts on the entire Division One AA, or formerly now known as Football Championship Subdivision, shutting it down till the spring. I will say this: I saw some things to piggyback off what you were saying, Derwin, that a lot of people are excited that they're going to have a lot of options. There's a potpourri of options to watch in the spring.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me in the fall.
But if they play in the spring, how many of those guys that have interest in going into the NFL are going to take that chance and play?
I would think the number would be smaller than 1A. Like, I haven't heard of any guy. We've heard of at least a half dozen to a dozen in the last week in FBS. FCS, I haven't heard of one damn dude that said I'm not playing because of COVID. If they have, he's probably not, recognizable, or his draft stock's not too high. Hell, first of all, we don't really. I mean, can you name the Walter Payton Award winner in the last 5 years? Hell, I can't.
No.
Okay, there you go. Like,
Yeah.
they gonna
But
play.
when you said North Dakota State, the first thing I thought about was
Carson Wentz. That's all we know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, you got 7 rounds in the draft. You still find some good guys on that level.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you probably want to put some
That-
more stuff out there on the tape. as
That's
well.
why they're going to play. No question.
I told you that's where the scouts make their money, Willie. That's where
Yeah.
the scouts gonna make
That's
their
it.
money. Because
Yeah.
if I'm one of these guys, I got a shot to maybe get picked up in the 4th or 5th round and make the league. Do I risk playing and blowing out my knee, or doing something in the spring and missing the combine?
Mhm.
No. Just I'm trying to get out the hood or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I going to risk that? I don't know about that. You
Willie.
got to listen to some of these other guys and see what, the scouts and stuff, see what they're saying.
Hey, Willie, he's got a
Yeah.
point. Look, there are definitely some guys in FCS that are draft worthy.
Sure.
Maybe even some of them first round talents, maybe second or third round. Not very many of them first round talents, but definitely, maybe second day guys, something like that. Oh, that's interesting. What do they do? I even think those guys probably still might play. Maybe you improve
Yeah.
your draft status because you're actually playing while the other
Because
guys are
you're
not.
playing. Yeah, some of those guys may risk that, but I can see the benefit in that. But I also say this when we were talking about this, that D alluded to, and when he was talking, again, when you are a scout and especially in FBS, chances are those guys you will have 3 years worth of tape on them. So with that being said, it is easier if you've been putting out good tape for 3 years. Most of the time, especially when you're at that level, people are kind of skeptical about taking you. If they're really skeptical about taking you, if you were on the highest level of Division 1A, you had only one good year. They're really skeptical at that level if you've only had one good year. So most of the guys that are at that level have put together successive years of good tape. So with that being said, if I was at that level again, like especially when you start thinking about the sport and the impact of it, I just don't know if I would play. If I'm on NFL radars and I'm firmly in that 4th round range.
Firmly. I need to be a first or second day guy.
Firmly in there.
First, second, third round. 4th round,
yeah.
That might be my limit. But like 5th, 6th, 7th round, man, go out there and play.
Yeah, if those guys will probably play.
Yeah,
but if I'm on firmly in that second day, as you said, Larry, I probably wouldn't do it either.
So there's probably maybe with a guess, maybe a handful of guys, maybe 5 or 10 max that probably would sit out that it makes sense for, but the overwhelming majority absolutely get out there and play. Marlene Stolings, we all found out that name. She's a tyrant, little disrespectful, mean, called some of her girls, the head basketball coach, formerly the head basketball coach at Texas Tech, called the girls pigs, fat, gave them these running tests, they're trying to, increase their heart rate and look at that. And they had these unrealistic goals and just a toxic culture down there in Lubbock. Your thoughts and reading up on Marlene Stolings. I didn't know the name, but now I'm going to say, man, she's a Stolings. You know what I'm saying? He's acting like a Stoling. You know what I'm saying?
Terrible, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Bobby Knight
the way
wannabe. That's what she looked like.
yeah, the way she was treating the
Both
ladies
coached
there.
at
And then,
Texas Tech,
yeah,
God,
right?
yeah,
Like,
that's true. You know, and having players complain and leave the program and nothing really being done at first, and then finally, something was printed, and now people are listening, and she got fired. But this, I guess, has been going on for a while there, and before that, she was at Minnesota.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, I'm glad finally, especially in the climate that we're living in now, that finally something was done with her.
And it's unacceptable on both sides. It doesn't matter gender as well. So, look, it's
Yeah.
never good to see someone. I'm not rooting for anyone to lose their job, but it's good to see that, there's some, there's something equitable about it, right? Hey, Willie, look, I mean, bad behavior is bad behavior, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No question. And what it speaks to as well, too, and you're starting to see this, and especially in the climate that we're in, where you're starting to look at from a coaching perspective, you're actually starting to see when we have search firms and all the other things that we have operating here, you're starting to see less and less diversity from a coaching standpoint. And on the Division I level, at that highest level in basketball. And so with that being said, most of the time when you have coaches that look like us, not only do you have to be incredible from an X's and O's standpoint, you know what else you have to be? You have to be a people person as well. And that extrapolates itself all the way out to from a societal standpoint also. Because what do we say about Barack Obama as president? Man, he was great because he united everybody, right? And then you look at the person that followed him, it speaks to, again, a societal
Divider
issue.
in chief.
Right, where people don't have to worry about their character in their respective positions, right? Where we have to be relationship people. They can just, okay, I'm just really good in this X's and O's stuff, and how I treat people, it doesn't even matter. So that's one of the things that we really have to make sure that we're rooting out and eradicating when we see these things happen. Because as D said, there were rumblings about stuff. So for the AD to say, I had no ideas that was going on, but there were rumblings about certain things before she actually got to Texas Tech. That says a lot to me. That says we hired you despite your quote unquote issues that you had getting along with people. And that's a bigger societal issue that we really need to focus on, because again, I can say this and I stand on this. If I had those types of issues in my background, there's no way I would be hired. There's absolutely no way.
No. I will say this, Marlene Stoling, she did sort of turn around the program, increase the win totals. Look, she was trying to be, something like Pat Summitt, but it's like Pat Summitt is a legend. She won 8 national titles. You're not Pat Summitt. So yeah, you got to cool it with that nonsense.
But Larry, think about the way that the players that play for her talk about her.
Yeah, they revere her.
Right,
that's tough love because they're a winning program.
right. Yeah, but think about how they talk about her.
Yeah,
right. In terms of the adoration and the love and the things that they have for her.
She was a mother.
Because to your point, where you talked about, I'll say this really quickly, when you talked about how she turned around the program at Texas Tech, she also was having the same win totals at Minnesota. And when you get in the weeds a little bit, when she was offered that deal at Texas Tech, and Minnesota is not an easy place to win in the Big Ten. We've mentioned that before, right? So when she was offered that deal at Texas Tech, there was no pushback at Minnesota in terms of let's try to retain her.
That's
either,
a good point. That's
right?
Good point.
So that's the other thing that speaks a lot as well.
Sometimes saying nothing speaks loudly, and Minnesota was like, "Y'all want her? Go ahead."
That's exactly right.
Y'all can have her. We're not going to fight.
Exactly right.
Let's get to the esports part of the program. Dr. Disrespect, we all know that. We saw what happened with Twitch and being banned, and mysterious reasons why. A lot of flying speculation out there of the reasons why he was banned from Twitch. Made his debut on YouTube recently, a couple of days ago. Great fanfare. I think he peaked at 510,000 views. Caricature, you know what I'm saying? Weird dude, he does his thing. It is what it is. Very popular in this space. Just want to get your thoughts on Dr. Disrespect, coming back into the streaming world and coming back with the bang. I was telling Coach K when I saw the videos Wednesday or Thursday, I'm like, hey, I saw like some released trailers and he's like in the shadows. It looks like a music video, and he's like, it's a shadowy figure. It's him looking out into the city. I don't know if it's Tokyo or Gotham or New York City. It's all produced up, all well. Like, was that Beyonce or was that Dr. Disrespect? freaking Dr. Disrespect. So, hey, you know I'm gonna keep it real. I don't care about esports or real sports. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, but that's what it looked like. But you can't take this away from him. The production value is always on point with this dude, and he's at the top for a reason. D-Dubs.
Yeah, you take your hats off to him because I mean, you know, in this climate where you can have your computer and a camera and some lights, you could pretty much create whatever you can. The guy has created a niche for himself. He's got a bunch of followers, and from what you're telling me, his production is off the charts. So it doesn't matter that Twitch, for whatever reason, banned him, and we still don't know why they banned him. But he has not let it stop him. He's pushing forward. He's got a new avenue to go, you know, put his stuff out there. And hey, I guess, you know, it's the American way, American dream, and he's able to be successful. He's doing his thing.
Hey, Willie, what were your thoughts when you saw some of the video and the pictures of like, Dag? I mean, I'm sure you've seen him before. We've all seen the caricature, you know, the he's a big dude, got the mustache. I don't even really know what the hell he does. I don't know what game he plays. I don't know anything about him other than I've heard the name. I don't know anything about him at all. When I think about him, I'm like caricature, but hell, it works for him. Can't knock him.
No question, man. And go ahead, Coach K.
Well, I know that he plays the shooters, but he doesn't like Fortnite. He does not.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He went Corrupt. Look, so Corrupt had a song in the 90s. I'm a hip hop head, and of course, I'm talking about a dude that represents the West, even though he's a Philly guy, right? Corrupt had a song called "Calling Out Names," right? And so Corrupt went out and he started when he was talking. No, we're not talking about subliminal distance. He was calling out names. That was the title of the song. And so and he went hard. And so he went hard on Fortnite. He went hard on Valorant. He went hard on a lot of people. He also went hard on Twitch, you know, when he was saying that they still haven't provided a reason for why I was banned. So when he went to YouTube and he started streaming there, from my understanding, he doesn't have a contractual agreement with YouTube, right? He just went on there. And so it's an ultimate flex, right? Because he's probably saying, look, if you guys want to come get some of this money, come on and get it with me, right?
Yeah.
So, but
I saw we're showing some of the pictures. I saw something where I think he may have made $15,000 the other day as well.
Right. So that's, exactly. So he had, while he was out in leading up to the buildup of him being on YouTube, he was getting more subscriptions. He was getting even donations, right? So with that being said,
I've never understood that. I mean, we should do that. Like, don't have to compete forever. We could use it. Like,
Facts. Coach K, we need that.
Yeah, we need to start doing that.
Coach K, let's go, baby.
Efforting it.
So that, I mean, again, and I'm all saying this is all of my perspective is sort of colored by the fact that I don't know what happened at Twitch right now. If some things come out publicly at Twitch that he did that are very unsavory, then, you know, my position of I can't knock the hustle, then that changes.
Sure.
Right. But man, for not knowing all the information, I mean, dude exercising the power of his platform. And we all know this is not often in life from a professional standpoint when you have leverage. So when you got it, you better exercise it.
All right. The homework assignment for all of us on Wednesday, get a mustache and a dark wig. All right. And some headphones, and let's just say a bunch of crazy stuff.
There we go. Calling out names.
Alter ego, right? Yeah, all right. We'll do that. Speaking of esports, NBA 2K League, the ticket is coming up this week, the last chance tournament for these NBA 2K League teams to get into the playoffs. One of the playoff teams is the Brooklyn Nets. So they are in. It's sort of like, you know, they backed in.
We in there though.
But hey, they got in, and congratulations to OG King Kurt, the Nets, for getting in. I guess he's got a dinner and something like that, some other team activities tonight. That's why he's not on the show. But congratulations to OG. Also, congratulations to the Toronto Raptors uprising. 16-0, first team to go undefeated throughout the regular season. Definitely the heavy favorites here. Only went to a game 3, 2 or 3 times all year. So here's a team that's, you know, definitely put their stamp on the league. But let's talk a little bit about OG and just how excited are you for OG, man, to go into this tournament, knowing that they don't have to play in this ticket tournament. They're already in the playoffs as one, I believe, the 9 teams they're in, and then the 10th team comes from this tournament.
I'm real happy for him because, you know, behind the scenes, you know, after the last show, you know, seemed like he was a little down, you know. he told us that there was a chance, but then he told about all the things that had to happen.
All the scenarios.
Yeah, all the
NFL
scenarios.
wildcard scenarios.
Yeah, and it didn't sound good. It didn't sound good at all. So then to see that text from him, I just felt for him, and I'm happy for him that somehow they were able to get in, because all you want to do in any sport is to get in and have a chance. Have a chance in that second season, because anything can happen. So they're in the tournament, and good luck, OG, man. Good luck going forward.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, Willie, your thoughts on OG, man?
Man, I'm happy for OG because, again, as D said, once you get in that tournament, anything can happen, especially when you're coming in there and, you know, a team is undefeated and they've been undefeated through the regular season. We saw that with the Patriots. As longer that streak went, the more that pressure started to mount. And the other team that they're playing against was playing with house money. So with that being said, you just want to get in that tournament, and especially, too, with a team that, when, you know, OG, they didn't make it last year. Right. So the fact that they're in this year shows that progress, and it gives them something to build on. And we talk about this all the time. You always, even if you have from a traditional sports standpoint, even when you have a young team and say you're going in there, you're a young team and you're playing against the 1 seed and you're probably going to get beat in 4 games. You want that experience, because, again, nothing can replicate that experience of being in the playoffs and sort of lighten that pilot for you to build on for seasons to come.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. Congratulations to OG. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. We're definitely rooting for them. We will always ask the question, where Brooklyn at? That's what we'll do this week. So lastly, we're going to get out of here in the next minute. Compete Forever on Black News Channel this weekend, nationally on Comcast, Xfinity, Dish Network, also Charter Spectrum cable systems. We had our HBCU takeover, the NBA 2K 20 championship. There are 6 HBCUs represented. We had Southern University, Hampton, Virginia State, Fayetteville State, John C. Smith University, and also Langston University. 6 students representing those fine HBCU institutions. It aired Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern. Today, it was on at 11 a.m. Eastern, and the final episode, the final viewing will be will be tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. on the West Coast, where A. Willie likes to rock out there in La La Land. So check it out. Myself, Renee Montgomery on the call. Pretty good final. A Cinderella story. The 6th seed came through and wrecked shop and won that thing. So check it out and see how they were able to sort of go through the field. It was not easy. Knocked out the 1 seed, the 3 seed, and the 2 seed en route to the title. Something that we're hoping at least D-Dubs is for the Portland Trailblazers, right?
Yeah, man, that was a really bad loss yesterday for the Portland Trailblazers.
Because they were controlling that game.
Yeah, I mean, and then when your star guy, your best guy misses 2 free throws, it just, that sits with you. That just wasn't their game. And I tell you what, you got to win out. You want to win out. I would think that's going to spark that team. I would hope that would spark that team to go down the stretch and just finish it and finish the rest of this, games leading up to the playoffs and hopefully get in.
All right. Any last thoughts, guys? Got to get out of here. Anybody? Any questions? I got a flight to catch you in a little bit. Anybody? Coach K?
Good. Appreciate it.
D-Dubs?
Appreciate it. Shout out Renee.
And Snook and Diddy.
I was going to say it. Shout out to Snook and Diddy.
Hey.
Also, Renee, Serena Grace, Kimberly, KC Beauty. Hey, if you want your makeup done and you want it done right, KC Beauty in Atlanta. Give her a call. Give her a shout. Sure, she can hook you up and beat your face to the gods, kind of like she does to my face. Actually, my face not beat. I don't want to put that out there. That's wrong. Larry's making up stuff. His face not beat. This is natural beauty, baby. All right, good stuff,
Juices
guys.
And berries.
Juices and berries. Exactly. Guys, thanks for watching Coach K, pushing all the right buttons for Coach K, Kevin Mamuzet. Durham Worrell down in the Palm Beaches, Royal Palm Beach off Lake Okeechobee, and the Fountain of Youth, Ponce de Leon. Hey, Willie, in the DFW. Don't let the hoodie fool you. It's hot as hell in Dallas right now. I'm literally from the tri-state area. Thanks for watching esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports. We'll see you once again Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. See you then. Thanks.